Good evening, guys. My name is Patrick. I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And surprisingly, I'm not nervous right now, but hold on one second, please. I told my sponsor I would record this because Nancy said she's going to surprise me, but I'm not surprised about it. This isn't working. So I'm going to qualify, talk about a little bit about what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. I was born to a single mom. I have an older brother and I had an older sister. My brother was, he was mean and he was a gangster and I wanted to be just like him. He was from the ranch. I was born and raised in this town and it was rough out here for me. I wanted to be something that I was not, and I never felt comfortable in my own skin. Until you added a little substance, and then I fit right in with everybody. At the age of 8 years old, my brother was arrested for murder, and I'm sorry, yeah, so that happened. The same month, some retaliation happened, and collateral damage with what that stuff does, and my family suffered for a long time over it. I'm not really going to get into it, but I remember the impression it left on me, man, and it was damaging. And I never really remember being scared until after that night. Like fear was real in my life after that. And I don't know why I thought about that right now. I haven't thought about that in fucking 40 years almost. My brother was my hero for a long time. And when the cops came to take my brother out of the house, I remember hanging on to his leg and wondering, what was going on. And my family being Irish Catholics, they were like, just, take the kids in the room. And, my grandmother was like, nah, she hated my brother because of the choices that he made. And I remember she made me watch all this shit go down. And she said, if you end up like him, I'll disown you just like I disowned him. And like, that was like the dichotomy of my family. Either you were walking the straight line or they hated you. And I remember not wanting to show emotion in my family anymore after that. Like I didn't want, let me back up. My grandmother had a belt with every one of her grandchildren's name on it. And and that belt left impressions on your ass cheeks when she whipped you with it. And I grew up thinking that that's how my family loved me. I was raised with an iron fist, man. I didn't have a dad, so every male in my family decided that they were going to take on that responsibility of raising me. And when I messed up, and I messed up a lot because it got me attention, I got my ass kicked. And I'm not talking about smacks on the ass. I got beat the fuck up. And they thought their rationalization and justification for it was they were trying to make me tough. And all it did was make me scared. It scared me more. And growing up, like thinking that I had to be tough and be something I wasn't, I put myself in a lot of situations where fuck, man, I'm lucky to be standing here right now. I saw my first friend get murdered when I was 13 years old. He got shot right in front of me. And all I can remember is him jumping around, calling for his mama, and that was the most vivid thing that I've ever experienced. And I can still see it to this day when I close my eyes and think about that guy. And a week before that, we were fucking playing baseball at Block Field together, and my life went on like that, and my mom, somehow my brother beat his case. I don't know, I was too young. Nobody really told me about it, but my brother ended up getting clean and sober when he was 21. And he went to the PRC up in San Pedro. And back then when somebody got clean and sober, the whole family went to meetings. The whole family went to treatment. And Like literally, I've been in Al-Anon and we taught and like Alatot and all that shit since I was 7 years old and 8 years old. Sorry, 8 years old. And you know, that's just my mom's solution for me when I was 15 was AA with your brother, NA with your brother, and that's what I did. And I think I smoked a little bit of weed at that time, but I drank a lot. By the time I was 15 years old, I already knew what blacking out was, and I knew what it was like to be hungover, and I knew what it was like to get sick, and I knew I liked it. It made me taller, stronger, faster, smarter. I had more courage than anybody on the block, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get my friends to like me, and I did. So I get thrust into this world of recovery now, and I'm around grown people that I have absolutely nothing in common with because I'm the youngest kid in San Pedro in recovery. And I got old timers telling me I spilt more on my tie than you've ever drinking. You know, go out and live a little. You know, what the fuck are you doing here? You're 15 years old. And they used to tell me, you know, go out and get some experience, man. So when I turned 21, after I took a 6-year cake, a week later, I went to a bar and I started drinking, and I didn't get sober until 2013. And in that course of time, I went to prison when I was 22. Been arrested a bunch of times, 3 DUIs. I almost killed 3 of my friends in a car accident. And everything that the old timers around here promised me would happen to me, they came true. You know, jails, institutions, and death, that shit's all real. So if you guys want that, you know, I mean, it's out there waiting for us, you know. And, you know, I just remember not really relating to a lot of the people in the rooms. I knew I had the ism, and I knew I had the addiction and the addictive personality, and I was a little prick around these rooms, man. And I didn't give a fuck what anybody said to me, and I didn't listen to anybody. And I was here for the women, and I chased women around this program for a long time. And I robbed a lot of people of their experience of this program when I was young. I just did. You know, I was really selfish, and you know, it all caught up with me. But the people in these rooms kept loving me, you know, and they kept telling me to keep coming back. And Fred Brown was actually one of them. I knew him. I loved him. He was like a father to me at one point, and he saved my life on more than one occasion, you know. And I'll just tell you a quick story about Fred and me, his experience. You know, I was seeing his daughter, and I was living in one of his recovery houses. And I share this because this has always stuck with me. He came over to the 19th Street house before it was treatment. I lived there with a couple of young guys, friends of mine, and he said, "I need to talk to you." And we went into the backyard, and he grabbed me by my neck and threw me up against the wall, and he said, "You know, that's my little girl, and if you fucking hurt her, I'll kill you." And I believed him. And I promised him that I would never fucking talk to her again. And I lied to him because I truly liked her. And, you know, we became really good friends for a long time. And the reason I'm saying this is because a year later, I was up in Seattle, Washington with my baby mama, and I was stranded and nowhere to go. And the first number I called was Fred Brown. And he fucking bought me a bus ticket and he brought me home. And knowing how he felt about me at that time and how angry he was with me, the principles of the program overshadowed, and it just, my clean time and my recovery were more important to him than anything. And he put me on restriction for a year, but you know, I mean, literally for a year. Like I couldn't go anywhere. You know how fucked up that is? Like all my friends are going out to sober dances, and I'm like, every Friday I'd go down to the office. Fred, dude, man, please, dude, I've been real good, Fred. You're like, man, get your ass upstairs, go back in my room. You know why you're in there. You know why you're on restriction. You know, I don't know why you're surprised why you're on restriction. Nobody puts you on restriction but you, Patrick. That's what he used to tell me. All right, Fred, fuck you. But you know, that's how my relationship with Fred Brown was, man. And I remember I was writing my exit plan. I was moving out of the hotel, and me and my best friend Steve, We thought we had it all the answers, and he called us into his office. We had a Thursday night meeting every night. Every Thursday night we'd meet up the street on 14th Street, and we'd have our house meeting. And I'm talking about the hotel that was on the corner of 14th and Center, right? 14th and Center. And I'd never been to prison before that, but everybody that was in that program were either longshoremen or parolees. And that was the closest thing you were getting to prison, was in that hotel. And it was rough in there. And I was a kid in there. And I learned how to have respect, and I learned how to grow up real fucking quick with those men, because they were not fucking with me. And you know what? Fred knew exactly what he was doing, because I needed some humility. Like, seriously, I needed some serious humility, because I thought I had it made around here. And there was a little crew of us, and we were all fucking young and good looking. And if the women were in a meeting, you better fucking watch out. They called us the foul boys. And I'm not saying that to like brag or boast, but I'm saying that because you can be sick in AA and NA too. If you're not working a program, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing around here, you can be just like you are out on the streets. And I was like that. And when I took that first drink at 21, I wasn't surprised that I got loaded again, because I wasn't doing anything to stay around here. You know, and I remember we're in this house meeting, and me and my best friend would give Fred our exit plan. And he's like, the whole time he's sitting against the back wall like this. And I'm the kind of person I want your approval. So I just keep staring at him. And like, he's not buying anything I'm fucking saying. And I looked at him and I said, so yeah, Fred, that's it. What do you think, Pop? You know, is that cool? And he goes, yeah, you'll be loaded in 6 months. And I was loaded in 4. Because he knew that I wasn't doing shit around him. I was just dry. I was just taking up space that somebody else needed at that point. And he sat me down in his office and he said, you know what, if you're going to continue to live like this, promise me one thing. Don't come back here until you're done. Do me that favor. Don't come back until you're done. Because somebody else needs that fucking seat. And I said, all right, Fred. And I promised him I wouldn't. And 30 years later, I called. And you guys let me come home again. And I'll be grateful for that forever. Like forever, Roxy. Today, what I'm doing with my recovery. Oh, let me just say this and then I'll shut up. So 2 days before I got here, Liz had called and left a message on my phone. And, I had a fucking full sack of fucking fentanyl, heroin, and speed. And I was like, this is going to be it. I'm going to shoot this shit. I'm going to go into treatment and it's going to be, I'm going to start my life over. And, I saw the phone ringing. Liz was calling, right? And I'm like, all right, I'll pick that up after and I fixed up my dope and I got to 30 cents and I woke up 6 hours later in my own shit, my own piss, with Narcan laid around me. And the girl I was living with told me, like, yelling at me that you promised you'd never do this to me. And I had a fucking syringe sticking out of my jugular vein. Because the neighbor just shot me up with 100 cc's of fucking meth so he could fucking save my life. And that was where my addiction took me. That's where my alcoholism took me. I haven't had a drop of alcohol in 11 years, but mine came in the form of a needle. So I qualified. And, I truly believe that I had to not answer that phone call from Liz. Because up until then, I wasn't sure if I wanted to get clean and sober yet. Like, I honestly, as fucked up as my life was, I was not really sure that I wanted to be done. My whole family are longshoremen. I became a longshoreman, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. And when it came time for me to get my job full time and get all my benefits and pension, I failed my drug test, and they fucking fired me. And you know what? I couldn't blame anybody but me. And I stayed out for, like, that happened in 2019. And, I wasn't going to waste any time. I lost my mom, my sister, my aunt, and uncle all within 8 months. And it was just a perfect fucking excuse for me to want to die. When you get into intake, they ask you, have you had any thoughts of harming yourself or, have you wanted to die? And I said no, but I lied because I wanted to fucking die. I did not want any more of what I had. And it's just the dope wasn't working. Nothing was working anymore, and I remember Liz leaving a message on my phone saying, you know, Patrick, I called yesterday. If I don't hear from you by 1 o'clock today, I'm going to give your bed away. And I was like, fuck that. So I called her. She said, be there at 8 o'clock, bring enough fucking clothes for 2 weeks, and don't bring your car. And I did everything she told me to. I brought clothes for like a month, but maybe a little bit longer. And you know what? That lady saved my life. She took a chance on me. You know, because I should not be here. I stopped breathing for 4 minutes. I'm lucky I'm not brain dead. And if you're wondering why I'm sitting here, it's because God decided that I'm worth it. And that's the only thing I can tell you. Because after I came out of that OD, I heard as vividly and as real as I've ever heard anything, Patty, if you just don't pick it up, if you don't put it in your arm, I promise you, I got you from every day for the rest of your life. So for a long time around here, you know, people used to say, God already laid your plan out for you. You just gotta have the courage to follow it. And I never had the courage to follow it. And I had to get desperate. I'll share this and I'll let you, I'll stop. But recovery is my life today. You know, I'm getting ready to work on my 4th step with my sponsor. And, you know, I love you guys in treatment. I really do. You know, my nickname is fucking angry around here. And you know what? I was, and I am, because I lost everything. My addiction took everything from me that I ever fucking loved and held dear to my heart. So you're goddamn right, I'm angry. You know, we're losing the war out there. There's a fucking war out there and we're losing. You know, and I'm tired of giving my seat away. I don't know about you guys, but I ain't giving my seat anymore for anybody. This is how I looked when I got here. And I'm going to pass this around. This is what I looked like the second day I was here. And I keep this in my wallet so I don't ever forget what I fucking went through. See, because this guy right here will do anything for his recovery. But this guy right here has got it going on. And I'll fucking get complacent. And I'll forget. And the reservations will start. And that shit happens months before I pick up. And I know that. I can stand up here and talk a real good program and tell you that I'm doing this and that and this, but you know what? I'm done talking. My sponsor said, what are you doing? How far are you walking, Pat? I said, I'm walking as far as you need me to walk, brother. Because that's the only thing that's going to save my life. Is me giving this to you. And you giving it back to me. We got to give it away to keep it. I thought I was going to be nervous as shit standing up here sharing you guys my story with you guys, but you know what? Like, I'm ready. My obsession to drink and use has been lifted from me. I had a moment of clarity. I acknowledge it. I had a spiritual awakening, and I'm glad that I did. And you know what? I'm forever grateful. Fred Brown and Roxy, Chris, Curtis, and Matt, Sunshine, and Liz, and Nancy for putting up with my ass and for saving my life and for saving my ass. I love you guys and thank you for letting me share.